It's a beautiful Monday morning and the roads are so free. It feels like the kind of day I want to have. I mean, I had to dress down on a Monday. And that's because it's the continuation of the holiday. It feels good to drive in Lagos when it's a holiday time like this. And this week is going to be filled with holidays. Today is one. I can understand if workers decide to have skeletal service on Tuesday and Wednesday because Thursday is another holiday. That's June 12th. And some individuals are already planning a protest for June 12th. Well, that's what's going on in the political space in Nigeria. Well, welcome to VOP This Morning. This is VOP This Morning, of course. I am Moses Humphrey. Now, let's take you through what we have for you this Monday morning. Afenifere calls for Tinubu's impeachment over Lagos-Calabar highway contract controversy. Oh well, Governor Hyacinth Alia alleges Abuja-based politicians behind attacks in Benue. Well, this and more we have for you this morning.
All right, this and more. Moses, good morning. Good morning, Fina.
Good morning.
If Lagos was to be this free every other day, it wouldn't be Lagos again. Trust me, it wouldn't be Lagos. Okay. Anyway, I'm Chukwuma Okoro, and thanks for joining us. Away from that, Biafra war was a painful but necessary step to maintain Nigeria's unity. This is coming from former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon.
Interesting revelation he made there. Okay, like my colleagues have already pointed out, those are the major topic of conversation for today. But before we continue with the rest of the show, we have the trend and stories. We also have to take a quick peep on the cover page of the National Dailies. We encourage you to click on the subscription button on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There we are, Voice of the People TV. You can also click on the notification bell to let you know when we are live. Also, we have across all the social media platforms, the handle there is Voice, that's VOP TV Live, at VOP TV Live. You can visit the website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news stories. And you can also share your views. Yes, we need your contribution. Share your views by calling the number you see scrolling on your screen. You can call that number that's scrolling now on your screen for you to be part of today's show. You can send us a minute video of yourself reacting to any topic of conversation. You can even send us a message via WhatsApp, just as the spirit directs. We have other trend and stories that Nigerians reacted to, but Chukuma have already said that my name is Fina. I'm Fina Okechukwu, by the way. And one of it is the Minister of Steel Development, Shuaibu Abubakar Audu, has announced that the federal government is in the advanced stages of reviving the dormant Ajaokuta steel plants in Kogi State. Speaking during a meeting with APC stakeholders in his hometown of Obonicha, Ofu local government area, he revealed that an MOU has been signed with the plant's original equipment manufacturers, OEM. Additionally, the government is also seeking private investors from China to support the plant's revival. And this one actually made Nigerians to react. Some persons were of the opinion that why, what is happening in this country, Nigeria? Why is it that it's more like the persons within the corridors of power taking us to, not to know anything? Are we really that docile? Some persons ask. The same way there have been plans to revive the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery, the Kaduna refinery, and a whole lot more of other refineries that we have in Nigeria. We've spent billions of dollars in those projects, and yet we're not seeing anything out of it. Just 1 month after the Warri refinery, which were told by Mele Kyari that is working now, even when they reduced them to blending plants, we're yet to see anything come out of it. It shut down just barely 1 month after we have plunged in billions of dollars, trillions of naira into the refinery. And now, Ajaokuta Steel actually is what Nigerians believe will create more job opportunity for Nigerians, especially now that we're having, deficiency in that particular aspect. We also, we believe that it's going to open up the nation, shores of Nigeria, for investors to come in, because steel is one thing that the world still needs for production of so many other things like the cars and, other things that needed steel for its production. But are we sure that this is not another way for us Nigerians again to see or to watch taxpayers' money still being misused, being mismanaged by some persons who find themselves within the corridors of power? This is not the first time we're getting that Ajaokuta refinery will come up again and to start working again. Some persons talked about it in 2002, 2004. People campaigned with it in 2008. A whole lot of persons up until today. That particular steel plant is yet to come upstream. But now that it's up again, we'll pray that Shuaibu Abubakar Audu will do something if he says he's going to do something.
All right. My fear is I hope this wouldn't be another white elephant proposal. It's not the first time that government has been trying to revive the Ajaokuta steel. It was 98% complete when it was built in the 70s, but unfortunately, Nigeria hasn't taken advantage of it. Now, if you want to revive the Ajaokuta steel, the question I want to ask is, the equipment that were installed there, can they still be used today? Haven't they been outdated? Are we not going to have, to fix those equipments, replace a lot of things when it comes to fixing up Ajaokuta steel, and that will cost a lot of money. In 2003, actually, the Obasanjo administration tried to revive the Ajaokuta steel. Some conversation was around the revival of the steel, but I think some agreement was signed. But that was mismanaged. I believe monies were put into it, but there was some mismanagement in that regard. And then the Yaradua administration also went into talks. That did not fall through. The Jonathan administration also talked about reviving Ajaokuta steel. Buhari's administration in 2019, there was some conversation around reviving the Ajaokuta steel. Some MOU was signed with an Indian company, Global Investment Holdings Limited, something like that. That MOU was signed, but at the end of the day, nothing was done. And here we are again, in 2025. We're talking about reviving Ajaokuta steel. Now, because the government hasn't done well with the refineries, the Port Harcourt refineries, the Warri refinery, and the rest of them, I find it hard believing that they mean well with this proposed revival of Ajaokuta steel. If antecedent is anything to go by, I will take their words with a pinch of salt. But anyway, here we will be watching how things play out and hope that I will be disappointed. I want to be disappointed. I want to see something come out of it this time around.
I guess that was the reason they went for that, to say that they are going to go back to, the original equipment manufacturers, for them now to be able to supply
Russians.
them. Yes, to supply them with all that they actually needed for that particular, the Ajaokuta steel to come up again. You were talking about if maybe most of the things there, if they are still usable, if I'm to use that word, they know. I believe they must have gone there to do the inspection for them to come up with that.
Okay, before I start, there are too many talking points, but before I start, let me tell Moses that he will be disappointed. Yes, you will be disappointed. And I have reasons.
I didn't see that coming.
No, I have reasons for saying that. I'm sorry.
You don't even want to give me some hope.
No. Don't even have any hope.
Okay.
Because I have reasons for that. Now, like I said, there are too many talking points, but I'll just take three. One, Moses did say that it was about 97% complete. That was in 82 or what?
About that time.
Okay, so now for me, the operational war there is between completion and revival. So you revive what you didn't complete. So when they say we want to revive, they are clearly telling you that they are telling you lies. That is on that level. Now the second one is where this is pure politics. Audu is playing politics. He wants to, his public posturing. He goes to his community, one obscure local government area, and announces that, look, he is going to revive Ajaokuta steel. Because Ajaokuta is in his domain, is in his constituency. He is from Kogi State. Now, Ajaokuta is also in Kogi State, so he's merely playing politics with it. I expected Minister Abubakar Audu, to come out from the Federal Executive Council meeting, mount the State House rostrum where they make announcements after the meeting, and tell Nigerians, look, the Federal Executive Council meeting today met and decided that, look, we are going to earmark, or we have earmarked 7 billion dollars or whatever amount of money for the completion of Ajaokuta steel mill. He should give us the project milestones, the timelines, and all of that. If he does that, Nigerians will take him serious. But he cannot go to one obscure location somewhere in Kogi State because he wants to play politics of populism. And he says, look, the federal government is making plans, to revive the Ajaokuta steel mill. It's pure lie. It's politics. And Nigerians, I'm sure if you go to X handle, you see Nigerians trolling him and previous and current government. That is another talking point. Now, the final talking point before we move on is, I think this thing has become a clear challenge. When we had issues with refineries and all of that, one man, one of Africa's best, Aliko Dangote, took up that challenge and built a refinery. Somehow we have respite. So, wealthy Nigerians, if one person can't do it alone, let's see 2, 3, 4, 5 people come together and give Nigeria a steel plant, and it will shame the government. Like the government is clearly shamed now when it comes to refinery. Look at what is going on in Port Harcourt and Warri refinery, back and forth and all of that. The Dangote refinery is there working. So it's a challenge to Nigerians, wealthy Nigerians. Even institutions can come together and say, look, enough of all this. Let us give Nigeria a steel plant. That's it from me. Let's move away from that and come to Lagos, where President Bola Tinubu on Saturday announced that he had put past grievances behind him and forgiven Lagos State Governor Ojude Sanwo-Olu, declaring it is all over now, all is forgiven. Well, a lot of Nigerians have said that they had problems, this kind of father and son thing. There was an event that he went and skipped him, he skipped shaking hands with him. But a lot of people actually said that time that the president acted little by doing that. Well, it's his personal idiosyncrasy. That's how he behaved, and it is clear that they had a disagreement. Now, this declaration came after a private meeting with members of Lagos State Governor's Advisory Council, this GAC again, who had come to plead on behalf of Sanwo-Olu and others believed to have fallen out of favor with the president. Well, chairman of the GAC, Ojude Oba, who welcomed Tinubu to Lagos, acknowledged that the president had been displeased with some individuals in the state, particularly Governor Sanwo-Olu, and appealed for reconciliation. Well, from what we understand, it had everything to do with removing Obasa from office, as Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly. Everybody understands what happened there. And the president was like, no, you don't have to remove Obasa like that without making recourse to me, as the man in charge of Lagos State and all of it. But it's a good thing that there's a reconciliation process. And if you clearly understand what's going on, for the optics alone, Sanwo-Olu has been sidelined, by the administration. Look at how Obasa was reinstalled without having to make recourse to him and all of that. But it's a good thing. I'm happy that our president has a forgiving heart. With his forgiving heart, he should also extend it to other areas. Nnamdi Kanu should also be forgiven. And others that might have done one thing on it. It's now becoming a state matter. So let him use that his forgiving heart, he should apply it to other areas. Just my opinion anyway.
All right.
Well, I have a different opinion, to be honest. I have a different opinion. And,
it's good.
And, the president is a politician, and I think he's playing politics. It's in his own interest right now to forgive and move on. The reason I say it's in his own interest is because whether or not you think the governor is insignificant, when it comes to electioneering and the governor holds sway over the state, the governor can do things or can put things in place that will affect the president winning the state in 2027. Because we know that the presidential elections will come before the governorship elections. Okay. So, and the governor doesn't have any stake per se. He's not running for office again. So this is his final lap. He does this and he goes home. Now, he would want the president's forgiveness, in my opinion. Okay. He would want the president's forgiveness because it seems the president has quite the grip over EFCC and the rest. And there could be some possible, hunting. So who is doing the forgiving now, the president or the governor? No, the president is forgiving. This supposed forgiving. Okay. He just did this one. Okay. So
supposed forgiving.
Yes. Why I ask is because I don't see where you differ with my opinion.
No. I'm not different. Well, okay. Now the thing is this. The reason I say I differ a bit is because it's in his own favor.
Okay, to forgive.
Now to forgive. All right, when he gets back into office, if he wins Lagos State, I mean, it was a struggle the last time to win the state.
Lost.
Okay. If he wins Lagos, yes, he didn't win. It was a struggle. If he wins Lagos State, there is no saying that the governor will still not be witch hunted by agencies.
Okay.
There's no saying that the EFCC, I mean, the governor already went to court to say, look, EFCC, don't come after me. You know, he's already...
He denied that. He denied that. Let me just ask you this question.
Okay.
If the president feels that the governor will be a threat to him as per 2027, and he gets the governor impeached before 2027, what happens?
Will he be able to get the governor?
It's going to be a bit difficult for him
when
to do
he has the House of Assembly,
yeah, but
under his thumbs,
but you know
with
that
Obasa as Speaker,
it's not going to work that way. It won't work that way because at this point in time,
if he had the Lagos State House of Assembly in his thumbs or under his thumbs, it would not be easy for the Lagos State House of Assembly members to work with the governor to impeach Obasa.
Simple.
It wouldn't have been easy.
Did they succeed?
Oh yes, they
They did.
They succeeded. They got him out of office. They got somebody else to replace him.
And what happened?
Well, they
because the end justifies the means.
They had to retrace their steps. But this is just politics being played out here.
It's all politics.
And the role the GAC played. Oh well. Now the question we should be asking ourselves is, why is it that right after Tinubu left Lagos as governor, he has fallen out with everybody at some point. He has fallen out with every governor.
But even as a governor, he fell out with his 2 deputies.
Why?
Politics.
There might be policies that do not go down well with these people that would make them want to revolt. So we should be asking ourselves, I mean, you can't be falling out with people that you really picked and put in office, people that are supposed to be your stooges, and then you're falling out with them. You know, so questions should...
You just raised another talking point, but my takeaway from what you raised now is the fact that all is not well in Lagos APC. It's very clear.
And all cannot...
Not with the protests that 28 days, the protests that greeted the local government primaries.
Indeed, yes.
People are protesting. People are saying, no, we don't want this.
I had to go to Lagos Island, was it Friday? Saturday? Yes, I went to Lagos Island on Saturday. And then some roads were closed, all right? There was traffic, roads were closed, and people were murmuring. And I asked, what's going on? People were complaining that, look, they had to close sections of the road because Tinubu was coming.
Come on. First son.
Nigeria's
first
son was coming. And roads were closed in Lagos Island. You know, so... I mean, I just wanted to drop this for you to tinker with. You know, whatever you want to make of it. That's completely up to you.
One thing to note about Nigeria politics is this: that some persons are becoming more aware of what politics should be like, not a servant-master relationship, as the case may be. You know, one thing people fail to understand is that you might be beating a child, giving this child serious beating every time, and you think that that beating is going to make the child actually to walk in a particular way, that can actually work for that particular time that you were there. The moment this child grows into a teenager and then try to get to the adulthood, the child will start revolting. The child will become rebellious in your own ways because you think you can no longer put this child again where the child should be according to your own ways. In Lagos State, like my colleagues already pointed out, Lagos State politics actually is being seen by so many persons as that of master-servant relationship. Somebody will wake up and pick up an individual and say, these are the terms and conditions, go ahead and do this for me. And the person will do it because of the personal gains, the selfish interest this person actually have. But not when that person tests power. Once you've tested power, believe me, you'll be rebellious. And that is what is playing out. In last election, 2023 general election that happened, the APC lost. First time ever it's happening to another party in Lagos State. The presidential candidate lost, even when he was the person, according to what some Nigerians are saying, that he was one that made Lagos where Lagos is, the Lagos boy. And he lost in this particular case, not because of the persons that we have as executive governor and all that, but because of the persons who are watching or who are already disgruntled with the activities or actions or inactions of that individual. Now, he has the right to be angry. You couldn't deliver. You're supposed to be my boy. But this boy actually is no longer a boy. He's a teen boy, as the case may be. He's growing into an adult. And then he don't want to have things to work the way he wants it to work. He has to go back there. The Sanwo-Olu denied having a hand in the impeachment of Obasa, and I laughed. Reason is, he said, no, he's a neutral person. Legislative arm of the state is a different thing entirely from them as executive. But he played a vital role by not coming up to talk. And then when the whole thing turned out the way it turned out, people went to Abuja to pay visits and come back, and there was reinstatement and all that. So many persons were also disgruntled. So many persons are also angry. Then during the commissioning of the 30-kilometer road in Lagos, somebody was bluffed. Yes, a handshake, no, I'm not interested in that. And, that also still push or make the world understand more that there is a bigger problem now we're seeing between this servant and this, or this man and this other person. Because Obi can never continue to be a boy. No, it will get to a time Obi will be a man, and, things will turn out the way it's not expected to turn out, as the case may be. But I'm happy it's going on this way. And if every other state in Nigeria that have been under the shackles of godfatherism will wake up and say, we're not doing this. I'm not going to be bound to feathers of iron and chains, being placed by this particular person. Believe me, the politics we play in Nigeria will be a better one. Not the one that is being fixed, or a whole lot of persons are being fixed into a bottle of you don't have the right to talk. I made it who you are. Imagine what is happening in River State. It's appalling, for crying out loud. But forgiveness is something that everybody preach. It's divine.
Yes,
it's good.
He's a politician. I mean, some people were expecting it to go the way of River State, but that will not happen. That would not happen.
So
the president knows how to do. He knows how to play the game very well. Oh well, let's get into another conversation now. It was a lovely cultural event over the weekend at Ijebu-Ode, when the ancient city of Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State came alive with splendor, culture, and pageantry as the 2025 edition of the renowned Ojude Oba Festival took center stage at the Oba Daytona Pavilion. Now the festival, a vibrant celebration of heritage and unity, saw various age grade groups, dignitaries, and cultural enthusiasts gather in stunning traditional attire to pay homage to the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Oba Shikiru Kayode Adetono. Now this year's event was marked by elaborate display of fashion, colorful costumes, rhythmic drumming, horse riding, I love that part, and also coordinated dance performances by different family and community groups. And this was really captivating, I must say. Oh yes, there you have the pictures from Ojude Oba. Well, I missed out on this year's event. It's a good thing that we are promoting our cultural events. It's a good thing. I think we should do more of such. In fact, these events should be carried on television. All television stations around the nation should have a slot for covering such events. I mean, as we have Ojude Oba, we have the fishing festival.
Arugungu.
Yes, the Agungu festival. And we should publicize these things as much as we can. Celebrate our culture. The Calabar Carnival. Calabar Carnival seems to have it's been watered down, but of course it can be revived and celebrated. But that one comes towards the end of the year, so it's tied to the end of the year celebration and the rest. But we have a lot of other festivals in Nigeria that should be celebrated and will drive tourism to the country if properly handled, if properly publicized. I mean, these things are beautiful to watch.
Very, very beautiful indeed, Moses. You talked about the Calabar Carnival and all that. This Ojude Oba Festival is still booming because it has not been politicized. I'm sorry to say, with all due respect. But if, for example, what happened in Calabar, in the Calabar Carnival, is to play out at this particular time in this Ojude Oba Festival, it will see the light of the day tomorrow. It was the Calabar Festival, Calabar Carnival was one event I participated in some time ago. I so much love that, over the fact that you see beautiful displays and all that. But guess what happened? Some persons wake up and believe that it is their birthright actually to get in and meddle into it. This is what particular persons wake up to say, let's organize this. It's going to boom with the upcoming, or rather the event of the Tinapa, the Budukatu Ranch and all that. It will draw persons that will come into Cross River and enjoy the God-given environment, weather, topography that place actually have. But guess what? Politics sets in, and the Calabar Carnival, it's no longer in existence. If you bring it back again to, we have nice sites in Nigeria that can get us money, that can also bring in revenue, that can bring in foreign direct investors into the nation. But because people are not looking to that direction, it turned out to be what maybe a blessing that turned out to be a curse to us in disguise.
Oh well, our culture, our heritage should be preserved. Congratulations to the Ijebu people on the successful Ojude Oba festival.
All right, let's get into the papers now. We have Daily Independent. Let's check out these headlines from the Daily Independent. CBN liquidity squeeze sparks. I beg your pardon. CBN liquidity squeeze sparks market repricing of instruments. We also have the window headlines. Experts disagree over planned demolition of Lagos International Airport Terminal. SEC warns Nigerians. Okay, okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm back to it. Kind of lost that one. So, SEC warns Nigerians against investing in Punisher coin. We also have Serap asked Tinubu to review appointment of APC members as Rex. Shetima unveils FG's assets restoration drive. Illicit drug consignment packaged as green tea intercepted at Lagos Airport. Sanwo-Olu denies rift with Tinubu, pays homage with GAC. Economy back on track, though not where it ought to be, FG. And yes, the bottom strip, Diri suggests how to save ocean-ravaged communities. How to save ocean-ravaged communities. Well, these are the headlines on the cover page of the Daily Independent.
First news is the next that we're going to review. And beside the masthead, it's all over. All is forgiven. Tinubu ends Cold War with Sanwo-Olu. Bandits attack mosque during night prayers. 1 killed, 2 injured. NDLEA intercepts drug consignment disguised as green. I guess, was that the one you took earlier, Mo? Was it the first news?
No, I took Daily Independent.
All right. NDLEA intercepts drug consignments disguised as green tea at Lagos Airport. NCOS enrolls 59,786 inmates in national identity number registration. Viral video misleading. I didn't point gun at anyone. That's coming from Adefa Rosin. Then the banner headline, fatal passion. 2 men beaten to death over pregnant lovers. Replace alleged APC members in INEC before 2027. Serap tells Tinubu. Southeast won't join June 12 protest. Isiguzor declares. And the bottom strip headline, high life icon Mike Ejaga laid to rest in Enugu. Those are the stories on the cover page of the first news.
And up next is Daily Trust newspaper with the window headlines. ACF, that's Arewa Consultative Forum to President. Prioritize governance over re-election. Democracy Day, President to address joint session of NAS, that's the National Assembly. Naval officer stabbed to death in Kaduna. Quite a sad one. Now the big story. 2027 division in Tinubu's base. And the most story from the Daily Trust. Hajj. How 7 Nigerian pilgrims died in Saudi Arabia. The bottom strip headlines. Residents, experts raise alarm over state of FCT abattoirs. Top contenders square up for Anambra governorship. And Kano GSM market fire. Traders count losses. And that's all from the Daily Trust newspaper.
And that's pretty much how far we can go. But join us again at 10 o'clock when we go deeper into the papers. But in the meantime, let's x-ray the call by Afenifere for Tinubu's impeachment over Lagos-Calabar highway contract controversy. Let's x-ray this when we come back. Join us again. We are the station that brings you stories from the people's perspective.
We'll let your voice be heard. On Political Lens, we'll bring you deeper insights into happenings within the polity.
We create equality of representative opinion and fairness in politics, economic and diverse conversations.
Here, we bring you breaking news, fresh perspectives, as well as fact-based analysis.
Watch our extraordinary shows from the People's Voice, where we get to amplify the stories and concerns of everyday Nigerians, to hashtag.
To Health Check, where we share practical wellness tips and bring you deep insights from medical professionals.
Maritime Frontiers will dissect issues on port operations and more.
Every time we talk about sport, it's everything that has to do with sport, from the top to the finish. Just be with us, stay with us all of the time. We give you sporting activities just as you unfold, and that's what we do, and that's why we are called Voice of the People TV, and you already know.
We got you all covered.
Here, you have more than a voice.
Is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health, without distinction of race, religion, or political belief. On VOP TV, we bring you Health Check, a show that x-rays different health issues and provides solutions with the help of experts in the medical field. Join us every Saturday, 2 p.m. on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health, our priority. All right, now let's get into the conversation. The Yoruba socio-political group, Afenifere, has urged the National Assembly to initiate impeachment proceedings against President Bola Tinubu over alleged conflict of interest in the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway contract. Afenifere leader, the factional leader, Oba Oladipo Olaitan, criticized Tinubu for openly admitting that the contractor, Gilbert Shaguri, whose firm, High Tech Construction, is executing the project, is his personal partner. Olaitan accused Tinubu of awarding a major federal contract to an associate without competitive bidding, in violation of the Public Procurement and Environmental Impact Assessment Act. He alleged the highway primarily benefits Tinubu's private project, the Atlantic City, suggesting that only the section leading there may be completed. Oh well, that's what we do have with us in the studio, Barrister Darlington Agumwa, and also we have Mr. Akin Fatunke, who is a communicator, a public affairs analyst as well. Well, gentlemen, good morning to you. From Port Harcourt, we'll be joined by Prince Nixon Okwara. He will be joining this conversation much later, but we have with us Barrister Darlington and Mr. Fatunke. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome on a beautiful Monday morning.
My pleasure. Very much, Moses.
All right, good to have you. Now, let me start off with Mr. Fatunke. Now, this National Assembly that has endorsed the president for a second term, this National Assembly that has said, look, we stand by the president, come what may. This National Assembly members, those that are from the APC, that have given some sort of chosen the president as a consensus candidate for 2027. Is it laughable that Afenifere is pushing out this proposal for an impeachment, or is this just supposed to, be some sort of distraction?
Thank you very much, Moses. Again, good morning, Nigerians. It will not be right of me or anybody for that matter to laugh at them. It's within their rights. Also, they are factional Afenifere. So they have a right to say what they have to say. And I'm also happy, while you are posing the question to me, you said this National Assembly, this APC holding sway in majority of National Assembly, because I am not aware that the whole lot of the National Assembly has given their approval. We have other parties within the National Assembly, those who have not crossed carpet at least. So with me, it's let them have their say. They have a freedom to make their angst in the way they know best.
So would you align with those that call it an exercise in futility?
Oh, well, again, I want to respect the sensibilities of others, even if it is in the minority. As a communicator, again, I ran away from calling them jesters or that we should laugh at them. But honestly, I really believe as a diplomat, it's not being very diplomatic.
No, you seem to be emphasizing the laugh at them, because what I actually said was, is it laughable?
It's not laughable.
It's not laughable. That's the question. I didn't say, should we laugh at them? Because you seem to be emphasizing that.
Okay. I will not laugh. Other people can laugh at them. I will not laugh at them. Let them have their way, but I know where the end game result, which is where you are going. I think at the end of the day, when people exercise their fundamental rights at what they need to do, the majority will have their say.
Well, looking at the call from this Afenifere and also what Showore said some time ago about that project, do you think that this particular project, the Calabar Coastal Highway, the way the bidding was done, the person it was awarded to, the commissioning of 30 kilometers from over what we have, 46 and thereabout, that we were told should be the first phase and all that, and also the videos and pictures from that particular project showing that it's more like Nigerians are being pushed to the point of the less you see, the more you look, the less you see. Do you think it's an impeachable offense, or do you think, in the words of Showore, that that is more like a treasonable felony, given the fact that we are not sure of what really happened with that project?
I don't think so. I think the facts on the table sit right. First fact is that that road was coordinated by one of the best engineers this country has ever produced. Hopefully, his records will be a record to beat, and that is Engineer Umahi. Engineer Umahi, over time, as the media and public interested people has repeatedly, I have read that repeatedly, emphasized the fact that the high-tech mastery of pavement technology is first of its kind in Nigeria. The procurement aspect, which I think I saw him speak about, was the fact that you could do a sole sourcing as long as you lay bare, and he had decided to lay bare as much as possible. People are not satisfied. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead. Now, as for Showore and the video that you mentioned, yes, I saw the video that you mentioned. Again, that was copiously spoken about by this minister. And I think you mentioned Showore, you should also be fair to mention his other party person, I don't know if you want me to mention his name, also now came and said, look, whoever brought that might have been speaking from a point of misinformation, and try to lay it bare as much as possible. So that's putting it,
Okay. So clearly, you don't think that the president has committed an impeachable offense?
I do not think so.
Okay, now let's bring Barrister Darlington into this conversation. He's a lawyer. So, Barrister, first of all, do you think that the president committed an impeachable offense by the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project not going through public procurement process? What's your thought about that?
Yes, he has. Seriously, he has, and many others. Seriously, he has committed several impeachable offenses. And the reason why Tinubu has been doing this thing from one infamy to the other is because I don't know whether this National Assembly, they are under a spell. Because they are looking at corruption.
I would like for you to break it down.
Yes, I'm coming. Okay. When that project started, the National Assembly was not even aware. At a point, they said they should stop work there, that they want to investigate what is going on, how the money came about and all that. There was no bidding. The National Assembly, they called for the stoppage of work there, but what happened? Tinubu continued. Please, is that not enough to start impeachable proceedings against him? Is that not enough? On your own, you just woke up, started with no bidding, no appropriation, nothing. Which government runs like that? Eh? So anybody trying to say this and that, no, let us call a spade here. Tinubu has been committing infamy with our finances. It's on record. With our finances, and that is the core of our problem. This man just to throw money right, left, and center without approval, without anything. Spending the money anyhow. For example, this money is given the National Assembly for constituency allowance. Who approved it? Who approved it? The people that get the money even came to tell us that this is how much they are collecting now.
Okay. Barrister, let's stay within the impeachable offense with regard to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Now, what is the state of that road? Because as at now, a lot of Nigerians don't even understand. The first thing we heard was that it was PPP. Another thing, the last time we heard was that High-Tech was doing it pro bono.
Exactly.
You know, so are you able to tell Nigerians what is actually, does it have appropriation? That road, does it have appropriation? Was it captured in the 2024 or 2025 budget and all of that? Do you have an idea?
Not at all, not at all. I say capital, not at all. That is why they are lying. That's why Umahi is lying. To tell us that High-Tech is doing it pro bonus. So that we will say, the man is doing not a favor. Mr. Okoro, go and check. In the construction company all over the world, High-Tech is not even the first 10 or the first 15. High-Tech is not there. Go and check it. It's there on the internet. So, what is this noise that they are this and that? They are not there to say that the best in the whole world. And why would they be doing such a contract on a pro bono basis? Meanwhile, you were told about how many trillion. Somebody mentioned the amount to us. So we asked, where will this money come from? Since it was not appropriated.
About 15
trillion. Yes. Tinubu did not come out and tell us this is how he's going to fund this. He didn't talk, he didn't say anything. He just do it on his own. As if that our life will depend on that road. But Mr. Okoro, are you aware that the East-West Road can cross the same 9 states? Why can't Tinubu finish it first? Why can't he finish that one that PDP started and conclude it and then even claim the credit? It doesn't matter. Finish that road. It will serve the same purpose this one want to serve.
But Barrister, talking about the East-West Road, let me bring back Mr. Akin into this conversation. Mr. Akin, some people have alleged that, look, that the 47-kilometer stretch, which was the initially proposed first tranche of the road, that only 30 was done. Some people have said, look, the president merely did it to Atlantic City, where he has interest with Chaguri, High-Tech, and the president didn't hide that. He called him his partner. Yes. You know, so if the president had called a contractor my partner, do you still think he didn't commit an impeachable offense? That looks like having business in business, and it's against the ICPC Act.
Now, Shure and the factional faction of Afenifere have clearly stated there's conflict of interest.
Okay.
If you're a student of business, a conflict of interest arises when you have your own, your friend, your wife, your husband, being given undue advantage over others. However, the study of ethics that I know internationally now then says, if that is going to happen, declare. When you declare and you don't hide it, and then perhaps audit and controls now eventually find it out, that means you are trying to do something that is not toward. Yeah, Mr. President spoke about Chaguri, who has dared to dare, and he has spoken. And if you look at the Apapa Oshodi, from Oshodi down to Oworonshoki, and the Ojota Road that was done by, call it, the main actor in the private sector, that, Dangote, for 22 months. Nobody ever believed that was going to be possible. By bringing in the capacity to do an intermodal route that went beyond transportation. So I do not think that Mr. President, coming on the day he was going to commission the 30-kilometer, has committed any impeachable offense. He has merely acknowledged the other stakeholders who have helped him, helped the Hope agenda, which, I still very much believe on. And then you said that the 30-kilometer over 47,
When you say helped him, so you think that this particular
47 kilometer, the remainder has been explained.
Mr. Akin, the help him you just made mention of now, are we seeing a situation whereby Nigeria's wealth, Nigeria's money is being used now to, more like, reach and give a handshake to someone who have helped you in one way or the other, more like compensation? Is that what we're seeing playing out actually with this particular project? Because if you said that there's nothing wrong with the president giving, or this particular contract being given to High Tech, who we know has Shogori to be the head or the CEO, and you're taking it back to other construction that he's been able to do for him while in Lagos and all that, the help he has received around him thus far. And to this point, we're having trillions of naira, trillions of taxpayers' money, trillions of borrowed money that you and I actually had to pay in the nearest future being given to an individual just to compensate him for the help he has given so far. You're saying nothing is wrong with that? Is that what you're saying, Mr. King?
If you are saying that, I don't see it that way. I do not see Mr. President saying that he's going to give a whole chunk of the trillions that you are talking about.
A project that was 15 trillion being given to an individual.
Excuse me, please. You asked the question, so let me answer. There are different tranches and contractors who have come in, and Engineer Ubahi, not just yesterday, not when the thing was now being commissioned, has told you how they went through the procurement process. So, having said that, to call him a liar, I think I don't share that view. But
all right.
That we are now going to have an intermodal road that is not just a transport corridor that will have all the accomplishments.
Before we go to Port Harcourt,
I do not think.
Before we go to Port Harcourt, you said something about
an impeachable offense.
You said something about ethics, the ethical angle to it. That
yes,
even if you have a partner who seems to be doing business with you and in government,
yes,
you have to make a declaration.
Yes.
Now the president didn't make the declaration before the contract was awarded.
Yes.
He made it when a section of the contract has been completed.
Oh,
does that make him liable?
How did you know that?
No, that's what you said.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Not what I said. She asked me a question and I went to her direct. I said, let's go back and play all the tapes. In fact, at one point...
No, that's not my question.
Excuse me, please.
That is not the question.
And if you're not satisfied with my question, go somebody else.
Did you get my question?
I got your question because I'm next to you, so I have ears. So I'm not blind.
So what was the question,
I'm not deaf. No, don't ask me that question. You are not a
because you are not answering the question I asked.
I have answered your question, and I've told you that the Minister for Works, which I have praised to high heavens, has repeatedly told the whole world. And then I was not going to go back to tell you that part of the things we had, because you said alleged, part of the things we had is the fact that his son being on the board, and all those were cleaned out.
What exactly did the minister say?
That was not the question I asked you.
They went into the process and they gave you reasons why High Tech and Chaguri was giving that contract. You can tell, excuse me please, you can tell me you are not satisfied with that process. I don't have a problem.
I'm not. You missed my question. You talked about ethics. Hold on, sir. You talked about ethics.
Yes, I did.
That it is allowed in business practice.
Yes.
If you have an interest in a company and you are in government, you declare that, look, I have an interest in this company before you award the contract.
Yes.
Now, did all of that happen before the contract was awarded? And I said, no. Okay. Now, when the project is being commissioned, the president makes a declaration that, look, I have an interest in this company. Does that make him culpable? Is that an infraction on our law?
Are you finished with your question?
Yes.
I heard your question.
And you didn't answer it.
No, excuse me. I answered your question. You said, that was not done. You said that was not done. And I said, I disagree with you that was not done. Did you understand this logic? You said it was not done. Okay, how did you know it was done? Were you part of this? Have you seen the whole thing? I had the Federal Minister of Works explain that dot by dot. I heard him. And I'm prepared to give him that benefit of the doubt that all that was done. But if you don't believe what he said, and you don't believe my analysis in saying that was done, and you say that it was not done, okay, so be it.
No two persons can be at any point in time. Here, Omar, he said that President Bola Tinubu and Chogore are business partners. Did you hear that?
Mr. Okoro, when something is obvious, we don't need to argue over it. That particular project is shrouded in fraud and deceit. That is why all of them are speaking from both sides of their mouth. Yeah, both Omahi and Tinubu.
We would like for you to give us, your own facts.
The fact is, I have told you here. I've told you here. Every Nigerian knows it. I told you here from the beginning. My first intro here, I told you that the National Assembly got embarrassed because of that project, and they told Omahi and Tinubu, stop that thing. Let us investigate what you are doing. Let us find out who bidded. How much is that project and where are you going to get the money? The National Assembly, up to today, Tinubu did not answer them. Rather, he continued with the project. Is that not fraud? Is that correct? Okay, where did the Tinubu get the money? It's true. It's not in the budget. The National Assembly. It's not in the budget. Excuse me. Is it in the budget? Excuse me. I can't hear you. It's not in the budget. The National Assembly asked exactly what you have said, and they appeared in front of the National Assembly. They did not. They did not. Okay, sorry, I can't. Don't go out. They did not. Look, they appeared with the National Assembly. Hold on. They made the explanations, and the National Assembly said, "Go ahead." They lie. They started the project. Remember very well. Remember, this was exactly what cost Bat Naji his job. Remember, geometrics. When they discovered that he has a company and he's the Minister of Power, immediately Jonathan asked him to leave, and he left. Right, now, in the case of, look at how they are trying to cover it, trying to defend it. You and I know very well how long the Tagori and the High Tech have been a business partner to Tinubu. You and I know. You and I know. So why would he now award the contract to them? So why would he do that? So it's question there. So you know already. Yes, we could have done it with his own private business, not our own.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, let's go to our Port Harcourt station. Let's go to Port Harcourt, where we have Prince Nixon Okwara. Prince Nixon, good morning to you. He's a public affairs commentator, political strategist, and certified security and risk management expert, and also a real estate developer. And I dare say he's an APC spokesman too. All right, so Prince Nixon, good morning to you. Happy holidays. Welcome to the conversation. Now, what's your take on the flouting of public procurement procedure by the president, and also the call for an impeachment of the president?
Good morning, Moses. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you.
All right. I think that without wasting much of your time, I'm happy to be with you this morning. Sadly, honestly, is a misplaced impeachment call. It's a misplaced impeachment call. Impeachment should be grounded in law, not driven by perception or political opposition, which I think that's what the Afenifere is doing. That's very sad. Most importantly is the fact that we must kind of understand what impeachment is and when it should be applied. That is a reserved process for misconduct, gross misconduct, not just a mere policy disagreements or procurement controversies. So let us get the facts. I listened to a lot of banters coming up on your platforms and all that. I think it's coming to a point that you should streamline people's opinion, which tend to have more of professionals who will profile solutions to the country's situations, instead of just saying things that has no basis in politics, nothing to add value, and even the criticisms cannot even have a place in any society, not even in the Banana Republic.
President Nixon, that's why we have you here to prefer your own opposing argument. Well, everyone has their own stance on issues, and I think it would be an insult if you say the arguments don't add value. So please, just give us your own take on the matter.
My apologies if that's your understanding, but I didn't mean your
apology is not accepted, though. It's not accepted. You are, every time you come here, you just run everybody down. I don't like it. I don't like it. You don't know better than most of us.
This has absolutely nothing to do.
Barrister, you see, I appreciate your opposition. It is a very good vehicle for democracy. But what I don't like is when we push unfounded reasoning. A lot of things we say from the National Assembly to the presidency to everywhere, even the people's public opinion does not add up. But let's leave that. If there's a platform for us to talk about this, I'll tell you why I said what I said. But if the moderators understand it differently, that's why I'm rendering apologies. Let me get you something. Tinubu administration choose to build. That is a reality. There's a sense of, have you understood the importance of that coastal highways? This is an important part. Let us understand that when you're grappling with inflations,
permit me to stay with you on this. If you say that the president has not committed an impeachable offense and the call by Afenifere is misplaced, do you think that misappropriation of public fund, misappropriation by way of not getting clearance from Nigeria's National Assembly before you spend 1 naira of Nigeria's money, what does that constitute in your view?
As a matter of fact, are you trying to tell me that you have investigated? There's what you call investigative journalism. Have you investigated to tell me that appropriation was not done or carried out by the National Assembly?
Prince Nixon, are you aware that the National Assembly at a point said that project should stop because it didn't pass through appropriation? Prince Nixon, hold on, sir, hold on. That project, was it captured in the 2024 budget? Was it captured in the 2024 supplementary budget? Was it captured in the 2025 appropriation bill? Please help us understand all of that. And let's have the figures if you can.
As a matter of fact, to the best of my knowledge, that particular project was captured in 2024 budget.
Are you aware that hold on, sir? Are you aware that the Minister of Work said that that job is being constructed pro bono? What does that mean, sir?
Pro bono exactly means that construction actually was carried out free of charge.
So who do we believe? You or the Minister of Works? Who do we believe?
What I'm asking you here now, what I'm saying here now is that, do you find out the part of that construction that is on pro bono basis? Is it the valuation? Is it the quantity surveying? Is it the actual construction? You see, we must be on ground with facts before we say certain things to the public opinion. Let's look at what people are shouting on the cost of that construction. Have you been able to look at what happens in America? Have you been able to look at what happens in so many countries when it comes to the coastal roads? Have you been able to look at the costs? We have an Oman, we have the India, Bangladesh, we have so many places where we have, even America, the coastal roads. Have you checked the costs analysis? When we want to speak on certain issues, we must be able to be on ground with facts. Instead of just because you just need to criticize.
Prince Nixon, does it mean that we're beginning to get different version of this particular project, the way it was bidded, the person who was allocated for cost? We also learned from the Minister of Works that's being done based on the 3 Ps, the public-private partnership policy. And now, again, during the commissioning of the 30 kilometers, we're told that it was a pro bono work by high tech. Help us actually work on this, because one person, on one hand, they're telling us that it's a PPP project. On the other hand, again, we're getting that as a pro bono, and they did not come up to tell Nigerians what part of it is pro bono and how is it, a private-public partnership project, all the same. They're just making Nigerians actually to be confused, if I'm to use that word, because they're leaving us all in confusion at this point in time.
You made a statement. Before you conclude, I want to ask you a question.
I'm listening.
Have you sought for the private or public interview with the minister? Let's leave the minister out of it.
Yeah, now let me get to that. Prince Nixon, during the particular, when the minister came to Lagos to talk about that project, a particular lady was vocal to ask questions about that particular project. Guess what was happened? She was bundled out because, according to the minister, she was asking personal questions. Are we supposed at this point in time to ask Nigerian government to lay bare how your money, how my money, hold on please, Prince Nixon, hold on. Are we supposed, hold on, are we supposed to ask the government to give us are we supposed to beg the government to tell us what they are doing with taxpayers' money? I asked the question, Prince Nixon, you answer the question. That is what I'm hearing.
Fina, your question, you didn't answer question. You're telling me a story. And I asked you a question. Have you personally, as a journalist, find a way to seek an audience with the presidency on this issue? Have you even engaged the minister? You are only telling me a story of what happened without being in that circumstance, in that situation. So you just have to engage the presidency.
All right, Prince.
You have to engage the mouthpiece of the president.
Prince Nixon, Okpara. Yes, we'll like you to help us get the president come on this platform or the minister so we can, ask him the questions. But in the meantime, since we have you here, you talked about some other projects. And, well, I'm privy to, I don't know if you are, to the Cairo-Cape Town highway. It's supposed to be a 10,228 kilometer road that cuts across about 9 or 10 countries. You're right, from Cape Town, from Cairo in Egypt, all the way through Sudan, all the way to South Africa. Now, a portion of it, the Cairo aspect of it was said to have, that's about 2,000 plus kilometers, was said to have consumed, I think about $1.6 billion was used for that 2,000 plus kilometers. But here we are. This coastal highway is basically within Nigeria. It just cuts across states. And we have estimated about $11 billion for the construction of that road. How do you reconcile this disparity in figures?
Thank you. I think that question is coming from you, Moses, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that question. And I want to answer this question by giving you a global benchmark.
Okay.
The United States, I don't know that road particularly you said, whether you said highways, I guess it's a coastal road. But I'll refer you to United States. The benchmarks in the United States for construction of coastal roads, I think is about $2.5 million per mile, which is approximately $1.55 million per kilometers. I'll also take you to, if you take at that, maybe you take it at 1,700 or 600 naira per dollar. You can add that up for yourself. I can also take you to Australia. There is a benchmark for that. You have about $5.1 million per lane kilometer. I can also take you to Bangladesh, which is approximately not in the high side of the Western world, or what you can refer as the advanced technologies. I can also take you to Oman, the Batina Expressway. It's about 256 kilometers, I guess, 8 lanes.
Okay.
It costs about 800 million or something like that, which is about 9.8 billion naira equivalents.
Okay.
And more, India, Mumbai, Europe, and all that. You see, I always want us to always be investigative about our assertions and positions when it comes to issues of this government.
As it stands, you haven't given us, you haven't helped us to understand these figures really, how we are spending so much on a 700-kilometer highway and a little. I mean, what we're spending on a 700-kilometer highway it dwarfs what was spent on a 2,000+ kilometer highway. You haven't helped me to understand that, but it's okay. Let's have your concluding thoughts.
Sorry, can I tell you something? We're talking about a 10-lane expressway, 59-meter pavement of the Nigerian construction, plus a central rail track spanning over 700 kilometers. Come on. And it's about 4 billion naira per kilometer. Can you convert it to dollars and check the places I gave you record? It's not for me to add it for you. I'm not coming here for mathematics. But what I'm trying to say here is that before we come publicly to criticize a government that have just prioritized national infrastructure building as a nation building, we must be at home with our facts and figures.
All right then.
We must
Prince
be able to commend this government.
Like I said, we're running out of time. But you should understand, we're not criticizing, we are critiquing. There are two different things, which I'm pretty sure you understand very clearly. And in critiquing,
you have to be constructive about it.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. That's
not destructive.
Of course not. That's why we are asking. That's why we have you here to help us balance the thoughts. So we're trying to be constructive. And of course, this is Voice of the People, so we're giving everybody a voice here. But, well, thank you very much, Prince Nixon Okwara. And those calling for the impeachment, they are not Voice of the People television. It's a faction of Afenifere. But thank you very much, Prince Nixon. Would that be your concluding thoughts?
I beg your pardon?
Do we have your concluding thoughts on this?
My concluding part is this. It is important for Nigerians to appreciate what the president is doing.
Okay. Fantastic.
All right?
All right.
Okay. Very important.
All right.
Because the ambition is bold, yes.
All right.
The ambition is bold.
That sums it
but
up.
not reckless.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prince Nixon Okwara. Mr. Akin Fatunke, let's have your concluding thoughts on this subject.
Just to, climb on top of the precise Prince Nixon, and I have to thank you. Not everybody will see eye to eye with you, but that road is continuous reinforced concrete pavement layered over a solid 200 meters with stabilization now. And one of
us here,
one of the VOP made a very, very important point. She was talking about a lady, and the lady had to be bundled out and stuff like that. Not exactly. In fact, it's one of the reasons why the thing had to go to the National Assembly, because petition was written. It has to be, it was something to do with, you occupying land you should not occupy, and then it went as far as the National Assembly, which, like, Prince Nixon said, was appropriated. I do not see any, impeachable offense on the part of Mr. President.
All right.
Nigerians who believe that this intermodal road goes beyond transportation, give all the wherewithal to open up Nigeria to the outside world, while at the same time looking about 7 or 8 at different angles of this country, goes to say, and with more money going to the hands of subnationals.
Yes, please.
They are doing their best to also do construction for intermodal roads.
Thank you very much.
God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Amen to that. Amen. Barrister Darlington, your concluding thoughts.
Mr. Moses, in economy, there is something we call scale of preference. That is a given. In fact, it's a fact. When you are in an economy like this, please, are you not supposed to set your priorities right? If Tinubu finish the East-West Road, it will serve the same purpose this particular one that he constructing is supposed to serve. So why not finish the one that somebody have started? So that it will serve the same purpose. Not that you left it or you are still doing something on it. When you know that this particular one, you will not even, 4 government cannot finish that road. 4 government cannot finish that road. Where is the money for it? And you are telling me we don't have money. You remember, Tinubu told us that Nigeria is broke. We don't have money. And you are wasting the little ones we have on that road that is just to serve your selfish interests. Selfish interest, nothing else. Remember, the first alignment was supposed to be somewhere else. After they destroyed a business worth over 40-something billion naira owned by somebody, they now went back to the original alignment. Please, what does that tell you, Mr. Okoro? Is that how to behave? If you are sincere, why would you go and destroy that business only for you to leave it and go back?
All right, then.
And this was what somebody was talking about the National Assembly. The man had to write a petition and they started saying, we made a mistake, this and that. Is that how to do something if you are sincere?
Thank you very much.
If you are sincere.
Your concluding thoughts there. Thank you very much. We'll have to let you go as you have other businesses. Well, we'd like you, all the gentlemen, to stay with us. Let's get into another conversation now. Governor Alia accuses politicians in Abuja for sponsoring attacks in Benue. Let's x-ray this when we come back. Join us again.
Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
We are the station that brings you stories from the people's perspective.
Well, let your voice be heard. On Political Lens, we bring you deeper insights into Africa. All right, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has alleged that some politicians, including members of the National Assembly based in Abuja, are behind the ongoing violent attacks in the state. While speaking in an interview, Alia revealed that an interim report by a judicial panel he set up indicates that these political actors are financing and sheltering armed groups responsible for the unrest. Well, he described the situation as a calibrated and executive plan to destabilize Benue for political gains, calling it extremely unacceptable. The governor pledged to act decisively once the panel submits its full report in the coming days, emphasizing his commitment to protecting the lives and interests of the people. Well, we still have in the studio here Mr. Akin Fatike, who is a political affairs analyst and a communications consultant. And from Port Harcourt, we still have Mr. Nixon Okwara, who is also a political affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us. Now, Mr. Aki, let me come to you. You're here in the studio with me. Governor Alia has cried out. This is not the first time. The other time he said, look, foreigners are the ones, attacking us. Probably lending credence to what the Chief of General Staff said. Now he says politicians are the ones behind the attack. He's not the first person to have said that. Governor Zulum said the same thing. Former Governor Ojude Oba, senator now, also said the same thing. Why is it difficult for these people to name the politicians? Can you hazard a guess? Is it that they are afraid or that they are just hazarding guesses? They are just suspecting. Why is it difficult for them to say, look, these are the people sponsoring this unrest in a place like Benue State, where it has turned to more like an ethnic cleansing, genocidal if you don't mind. What's your reaction to the governor's statement?
My reaction will be to cross the T and dot the I. You gave beautiful examples of others who are also crying. Even Alia's immediate predecessor overcried, looking at Benue example. Well, it's true. Absolutely true. And I will use just 1 second of my response to you to just divert a little bit. I sympathize with you. I sympathize with me. You don't stay there, I don't stay there. I sympathize with the blood that is flowing, that keeps on flowing. I am more than convinced that there is some element of truth in this latest crime that politicians in Abuja and elsewhere, including the Benue State government house itself, as we saw that happened with Otom during his time, they all have their hands in gloves concerning this. So if the thief is now the policeman, who is going to arrest who? Is all hands interwoven. I strongly believe that hopefully, when the final report, like he said, when it comes out, we should begin to name names.
Okay.
But unfortunately, let's take that and go to the center. Bola Ahmed Tinubu succeeding Buhari has a handover note whereby terrorist financiers have been mentioned and taken out in other areas of this world. Why are they not doing it? It therefore tells me, I don't know for sure, that this terror financiers, they too, somehow governments at all levels are benefiting from the morass that has now become.
I like the fact that
that has now become our lot.
Okay, I like the fact that you took it to the center and the comparison you made between the former governor Samuel Otom and the sitting governor Alia. Now, I think that there is a distinction because Alia says, look, politicians are the ones behind it. Like you said, we expect the report. Probably he's going to name names, call names, when the report comes out. But Otom was very clear. He said, President Muhammad Buhari, you are Fulani Kingsmen are the ones behind these killings.
Right.
And at that point, the APC spokesperson, the Minister of Information was like, do you have information? And all of that. I also like the fact that you said Buhari handed over handover notes to the president. Now, this thing persists. Why is it difficult for the president, to say, look, these are the terror financiers. UAE gave 411 names and all of that. And up till this moment, nothing has happened with those names. So is it that the current president is scared? Is it that he doesn't have the political will? Or what? Or is it just towing the line of his party or the former president?
I will say res ipso facto. On the face of it, I do not see what I would call a concerted political will to tackle headlong whether handover note has been given to you as Mr. President, you are now the one there now, and whether those handover notes that have been given to you, you know very well some. I see little attempts here and there to put up a couple of people, including Binance, we hear are being done. I don't think it has percolated to the extent. But to say that attempts are not being made will not be totally right. But these attempts should have been, look, let's get to the bottom of it, even if that is what brought you into power. You mentioned Autumn. And you know what Autumn eventually had to face? Because allegedly, I'll still use the word allegedly, Oga Buhari, by act of omission or commission, clearly said that he was going to open the borders. And then we truly had Fulanis who are not necessarily Nigerian Fulanis, that is described as our cousins, our nephews, came in through and they started hacking havoc on our collective sensibilities. I will say something and I will keep quiet now. Bola Tinubu has been accused of not opening his eyes, and people who are supposedly sympathizers to people who have despoiled us are being appointed by him. You know, I'm talking about the Mataweles of this world, the Magudus of this world, and stuff like that. I don't know his mindset. But there's a saying where I come from, that if you really want to catch a thief in this kind of internecine kind of battle that we have, you get one of the heads. I'm not really referring to, but you get one of the heads who know some of those terrains, get him in and see what he could do. It could backfire, it may misfire, or whatever. But I think Nigerian government, including the National Assembly, have not shown enough political will to bring to book those people that Otto mentioned and those people that UAE has told us are the financiers of terrorism in Nigeria.
All right, then let's go to Prince Nixon now. Prince Nixon, good morning once again. All right, we seem to be having a network problem there. Well, let's see if we can re-establish contact with Prince Nixon Okwara, who is in Port Harcourt. All right, so I understand that we're having a network glitch right there. All right, so let me stay in the studio here. Now, Mr. Fatuke, let's move away from Benue. Let's look at the broader spectrum. Insecurity all over Nigeria. You know, some have said it's the opposition. Some have blamed it on the opposition, wanting to make this administration look, you know, like they're not doing anything. The same thing we saw in the Goodluck administration. Same thing we saw at that time. Some, you know, people have also blamed the military for having a hand in it, saying generals, retired generals and the rest of them have a hand in insecurity in Nigeria. But in all of it, in all of these back and forth, doesn't seem like Nigerians are just being toyed with here. Or is it, should this administration, should President Bola Tinubu take a decisive stand? What would be your thoughts on this? Different allegations, different people being accused of perpetrating insecurity, but nothing is being done. Either be the opposition or the military or whoever.
Moses, brilliant question. Sad one though. The one that can make you and I, who can think, and our children that are yet to be born, coming to this part of the world to continue to weep before they do their weeping. Yes. Let me start with the military. They are trying their best, but we have a cohesive, concise military. The same Nigerian military of different tribes, tongues, and natural belief who have gone as battalions to go represent Nigeria, and they have done well and they earn medals. But back here in Nigeria, they are not able to do the same thing. You said opposition politicians. In fact, when you started, and that's why I think this was brilliant, when you said the opposition politicians, when you are not doing well, you always look for excuse. But there's also an element of truth in the way we have played our politics. We are different tribes and tongues. And that is how we have approached our politics. And that is what is fueling our politics. So if you are not of my tribe, if you are not of my religion, if you are not of my way of thinking, if you are not, by way of my clan, then I'm going to stand aloof. The locals. So you can have a particular party operating as an opposition. But then somehow, very tough and difficult to say, if it tears, let it tear. And so you have informants. But if it is your tribe, and if it is your tongue, if it's your tribe and your tongue, you see people in that area trying to align. So, should President Bola Ahmed Tinubu not do something decisive? I think he should, and I hope, and I pray that he will, for the sake of you, me, and generations unborn.
All right, now,
Nigeria is negotiable, and we must sit down together and take a decision, because the leadership question in 2027, I'm giving you an example. Let somebody from Akwa Ibom now become president of Nigeria. Let somebody from the southeast, northeast, northwest. The rest want to stay aloof. We are not coincide with the way we look at the same problem. So that is the way things have gone. Okay. And I think President Bola Tinubu, one of the things I'm going to be prescribing, which is the truth, is that Nigeria, as we have clubbed ourselves together, is not working. It's not working. And because it's not working, let's go lose a little bit and take a decision. Let each, by way of, call it regional government or whatever it is,
all right,
take a decision
like a concluding
what
there.
you are
like
going to bring to the center. The truth is bitter, but that is my truth.
Now, I need to ask this question, Mr. Akina. You made mention of the military, maybe some of them now working on the line of tribe and religion and all that. I think last month or thereabout, the president gave a directive that each state should bring in persons that will join the police, some 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, depending on the financial capacity of the state, for them to help out in the fight against insecurity in the nation. But he also, when he came up, we'll give it to him, that he started to talk about state policing. Now, why is it that no one is talking about that again? Like it's no longer gaining momentum the way it should be. If he understood or noticed that the fight against insecurity should be from the grassroots, why not go on? What do you think is it that deterring him from going on with the state police instead of giving directive for forest guards to man our forest?
Thank you very much. I don't agree that it's not done enough. It's done more than enough. In fact, it's in the open space. The opposition to wanting to go for state police also then lies with the subnationals, who are taking 50% of monies earned by this country by singular action, to now say federal government 50%, state government 50%. So they are also now very, very strong. They are now then looking at it and saying, hey, wait a minute. In fact, it has two bold reforms in that area. The state police that you mentioned. And you see the National Assembly all dancing around here and there, because when it comes to the National Assembly too, it's going to be the largest number of votes. And those who are the people that will get you the largest number of votes, it's been skewed to the north. And so it may now is the point I am making. The thing don't work from the grassroots. The second one is local government administration. This Supreme Court has even ruled on that. Mr. President has begged, but the state governors are against it. What does that tell you? It tells you that everybody just wants to do their own little bit of fiefdom until perhaps a revolution comes. And I'm saying we don't need to have a revolution. We need to now sit down and agree that we don't look at things from the same prism and from the same perspective. let's come like, you know, unlike what Nnamdi Azikiwe told, you know,
okay,
his counterpart from the north, Amadou Bello, that we should forget Africa. No, the differences are there. Let's look at these differences and let's decide how we are going to navigate shedding the least of blood. But I think, Mr. President, it's on his desk right now that Nigeria is negotiable according to the people who believe they own Nigeria. Nigeria is not negotiable. It's a light from the pit of hell.
Now, thank you so much, Mr. Akin. Let's get you into this conversation. President Nixon Okwara, we're talking about insecurity in Nigeria, you know, and the fact that some governors have come up to say that politicians are sponsoring the insecurity bedeviling the nation, especially in Benue State, where Hyacinth Alia made it look like, you know, it's more like, it's not just him now, it's looking like a genocide, ethnic cleansing, whereby a particular group or set of persons are being attacked. In Plateau, for example, also it happening there. Why is it that at this point in time, insecurity is what Nigerians have suffered for some time, but yet Nigerians are talking, you and I most times will analyze and we talk about it, solutions are being preferred, but it's more like we're not getting the government working on some of the solutions that Nigerians are preferring at this point. What do you think actually is the thing deterring the government from ending insecurity in its entirety in Nigeria?
Thank you, Fina. As a matter of fact, Father Alia is like Benue State is very significant when it comes to the priests of the Catholic Church. An order I myself emerged from, and I know a lot of things that guide me as a principle and policy for life, and it has taken me so far. But unfortunately, I will tell you that if Father Alia should just come up as the executive governor of the state of Benue State, when people should be looking at him with so much enthusiasm, hope, faith, and confidence because of where he's coming from, the Catholic Church, and he's coming up to say that, it means that he was not ready for the heat in the kitchen. So he shouldn't have gone into the kitchen in the first place. The thing is criticizing, which is political, by saying politicians, and as far as I'm concerned, Father Alia is the head of the politics in Benue State. He's the chief security officer of Benue State. He's everything. It is high time we stop making excuses for those who have saddled the responsibility to protect the people or defend the people. If he thinks he can't do it, he should resign. He shouldn't just be whipping up sentiments. There are certain situations and responsibility that comes with being a governor, and that is primarily protecting the people of Benue State. So the excuses to me does not add up here.
All right, now Prince Nixon, take it to Borno State. Babagana Zulum also is the governor of Borno State. He said it too, that politicians and civil servants are the ones making insecurity in Borno State to still fester today. Bring it back to the National Assembly. Senator Ojude Oba, said something again about politicians also being the ones aiding the insecurity in Nigeria. Take it again back to when Buhari was there, like my colleague pointed out, we have names. We have persons who are being given, names who are being given to the government saying that these are the sponsors, people who are helping and aiding insecurity in Nigeria. Yet, nobody actually has done something about that. Take it back again to what you just talked about when you said that Alia is executive governor of the Benue State, but we have a president who supersedes and who superintends over every activity of every Nigeria. We know that in as much as we have an executive governor in all the 30 states, but they don't take orders directly. Military personnel need to get their orders from their heads in Abuja and all that before they can do anything. Even when the governor is there to say, do this for me, please don't listen to him until they get the order from above. Are you not just saying that he has the bulk of this load now being on his shoulder, even when we know that his powers are limited when it gets to access to security personnel?
Fina, if we want to have a one state and with an emperor on top, let us all come together and decide. You see, let's stop making excuses for these failures in governance. As far as I'm concerned, and I maintain, if I'm the state governor anywhere, I will never give an excuse of what happens in my state when it comes to security. Why is the state government house still protected at this moment? Why has it not been overrun? Why are those opposition states, like I don't want to mention anyway, why are the terrorists not in the government house? Why didn't they blame the state government, the federal government, and blame the president Tinubu over it? These guys complain of political willpower they lack because of the fact that they have compromised their offices. And the masses should hold them accountable for the losses. I don't want to be sentimental or emotional about this because it hurts me each time I hear a state governor, even a local government chairman, for instance, that comes to tell me that he's overwhelmed by the security. He should resign. If I'm even a governor, even a local government chairman, I know what to do. I know what it takes to protect myself. And if everybody is a security of himself, like a policeman who guards you should first secure himself, that's the rule of security. Then every governor who complains of insecurity in his state should resign. That's my position, Fina. And I will hold no apology about this, whether the person is APC or PDP governor.
All right, Prince Nixon, before we leave you, before we move on to the next conversation, please, can you, like in 30 seconds, tell us what you would do differently if you were the governor of Benue State, under the circumstances that the man has found himself?
Thank you very much. There are approaches to security approaches and many more that I won't say here. But I just give you a little hint on what I can do differently from what they are doing. In Benue State, those people who are coming into that state are not coming from nowhere. It's either by the land, sea, or air. When you have your immigration control and all the rest, if you feel the federal government are sabotaging your efforts, all right, you could go by profiling. There are other means of identifying security and threats in a state you can use with their financial, the funds available to a state governor, with all the powers available as a state governor. There are many more you can do to understand those who are security threats to your community. Secondly, you can also leverage on the fact that the vigilantes and the communities you guard are the first frontiers of the security. You could also leverage on that to get them also to protect themselves. There are many more you can do when it comes to financing themselves. It is all about political willpower to take decisions against who asks is God. But many of them are more interested in retaining power instead of securing the people. And they come out to shout. I'm an APC chieftain. No apologies to what where I am, but I'm telling you that when it comes to the sanctity and of human life, it hurts me what's happening in Nigeria when it comes to that.
All right,
and President Tinubu cannot take the bulk of the blame when these people have everything it takes to curb this insecurity in their domain. A lot of them are living safe in their home. You are safe in your house. If I go to my village, I'm safe. I have things I put in place that makes me safe. Do that same thing to a larger society because you are in charge of the common pool. You are sharing the common patrimony. You are in charge of these people. So protect them. If you can't protect them, my advice is resign and let those who can take over.
All right. If I heard you clearly, at a point you said defend yourselves. Does that mean they should be armed? As you react to that, let's not forget Anambra State, where a vigilante group was armed, and now we are hearing that there's a call from some quarters that these are politically motivated and they are working against the opposition, those opposing the governor. And a lot of all this conversation around vigilantes, we all don't forget the one that happened in Edo State as well. How do you react to that quickly?
Moses, let me tell you something, Moses. If it comes to your house, you have threats, and you put up some security around your home, and those who are actually trying to bring you down are the one complaining over your security. Will you lay your security or your guards down? I think the answer is no. You see, if somebody says the politicians are responsible, if you do the right thing, obviously politicians will find a way to bring you down.
Okay.
Are you understanding me?
Yes, all right, Prince. We are out of time. But before we leave again, you said that governors who are unable to protect their people should actually resign. Am I correct?
Very well.
Okay, so should the president resign because he's unable to protect?
No, no, no. The president is doing everything in his capacity.
Okay.
The last time I checked, he has introduced a national forest guards.
Okay.
President has to put up policies that all the state governments should leverage to secure their people. He won't go to every state and local government to secure them.
Okay.
We have lazy governors that are not thinking, or who are so much conscious of their next election or their next meal.
Okay.
The president has done everything. The assembly has done everything. My anger is on the state governors who are leaving their gas open and coming to blame the state that politicians, who are the politicians? In every state, the governor is the head of the politics. So do the political mathematics or arithmetics to solve the security problem. Take the decisive step to curb the security issues. If you can't, resign. And I mean it. And I stand by my decision.
Words there from Prince Nixon Okwara. Well, let's get into another conversation now. Biafra War was a painful but necessary step to maintain Nigeria's unity. These words are coming from Gowon. Well, let's x-ray this when we come back. Join us in a few seconds.
Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon has described the Nigerian civil war as a difficult necessity undertaken to safeguard the nation's unity. Speaking at an event, Gowon emphasized the importance of forgiveness, reconciliation, and mutual respect among Nigerians. Reflecting on the 1967 to 1970 conflict, Gowon stated that the war was not driven by hatred, but by a deep commitment to keeping Nigeria united. He recalled the personal toll it took on him, including the loss of his friend, Major Arthur Unebwe, and said his actions were rooted in prayer and a sense of national duty. We have still with us in the studio Akin Fatunke, communication consultant and an arbitrator, and we still also have Prince Nixon Okwara there in Port Harcourt. Now, let me start off with you, Mr. Akin Fatunke. Interesting revelation indeed from Yakubu Gowon about the reason for the 1967 to 1970 Biafran War that we know we lost lives to. Now, the question is this: are Nigerians really united? The cause of that particular war, according to him, he says it's for unity of the nation. Can we sit on this table and say that Nigeria is united indeed? Then, if, for example, or peradventure Nigeria is not united, like some persons have come up to say, then why is it that we're not looking at another way out instead of forcing persons or people or entities to still be in a nation that they believe is not really united or working?
Thank you, Fina. I think the revered gentleman and former president of Nigeria, former head of state of Nigeria, General Yakubu Gowon, has stated his own part of the history. And when he said the Civil War was fought for the unity of people and centrifugal and contending forces at his time, maybe yes, maybe no, but of a truth, if you want to go back into history and say, where did we get all this wrong? Like I continually say, we must get back to 1966. And in getting back to 1966, we begin to open terrible wounds of things that seemed like near up to the time Irosi came with unification decree, drafted for him by civilians. One of them just died. It was ill-advised. So we went on then to the time of Yakubu Gowon himself, who went to Ghana as the head of government. Whether you now decided that you made a mistake or you didn't make a mistake, you agreed something in principle, only for you to now want to come back. General Yakubu Gowon should come to terms and say, I was going to sign off my birthright. And to Ojukwu then says, yes, on Aburi we must stand. To the Biafran war, where reprisal attacks were made on the Igbos, millions upon millions of Igbos came on. Then we came on to reconciliation, reconstruction, and the forgiveness that he's talking about. Have we fully done that? Look at the constitution that we are operating. Yes, you can tell me that the Southeast, in terms of land area, is not as big as Niger State. Go ahead and give me all those statistics. They may be there. But the truth is, if you want to use that as a basis, we all now say we want to go to a National Assembly to go and debate.
Okay.
At any point in time, the view of the Southeasterner and the view of the Southwesterner will dwarf compared to what that same constitution, which has lied on itself, has given to the North. Undue advantage to the North, including Sharia to the North. So, what we should really be talking about, again, is the leadership question. We must face it squarely, that we must go our different ways and decide what we are going to bring to the center.
All right, then. Prince Nixon Okwara, just one question, and then we'll wrap up this conversation. The unity of Nigeria, some have said, look, let's get back to the drawing board. But really, if you go by statements made by elder statesman Yakubu Gowon, should we still be, do you think the generality of Nigeria still want to stay united? And how do you examine this? Go ahead, please.
No, I beg your pardon. What was the last question?
Do you think Nigerians, especially the southeastern part of Nigeria, still want to be part of the entity called Nigeria? In as much as Gowon fought, well, he did say the war was necessary because of, keeping Nigeria together.
As a matter of fact, Moses, if you ask me, even when I'm sleeping, my answer will be yes. Because the people that have preserved, after the war, the unity of Nigerians majorly are the Igbos. But you see, what happens here is that unfortunately, we are coming from the history of a people who never want to say, I am sorry. If I were Gowon at this time, before he is laid to rest, he should apologize to the Igbos for the nation to heal. We are stronger together. There is a high level. That war was not a political conflict that is supposed to be. It was a pogrom. And the earlier Nigerians and the Nigerian leadership admit this and stand by. You know me, I'm somebody who don't serve words.
Do you think a simple apology will assuage the anger of the Southeasterner?
Apology,
especially since a lot of,
because
I mean, it's not being recognized at the national level. Talking about Biafra.
That's why Gowon is a very national figure. You should take the lead first by apologizing, not making excuses for failures.
Okay.
So if he can take a lead, and now seek for the reason to beg Igbos. I'm an Igbo man that have integrated ourselves to all parts of Nigeria.
All right, though. I'd like for you to land on your thoughts because we're out of time.
So the most important thing I have to say here is this. If Nigerians truly want to preserve our unity, it shouldn't be by force, but by faith. It must acknowledge past pain, actively right historical wrongs, and embrace all the people as full and equal citizens.
All right,
the more we continue to marginalize Igbos, we will never heal as a nation.
All right, then. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prince Nixon Okara. Thank you for your thoughts on the program. Big thanks also to Mr. Akin Fatuke, who is a communication consultant. And thank you very much for your thoughts on the program. This is how far we can stretch VOP this morning. But join us again at 10 o'clock for newspaper review. On behalf of my colleagues, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechukwu, the backroom staff, I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. Bye for now.